Hi everyone. Firstly, I would like to express my gratitude to Jaisim sir thoroughly because I think I couldn't ask for a better person to launch my magazine. Thank you so much, sir, for doing this, and thank you, Shruti, for suggesting this place for me. I was actually thinking some other place, but I think I couldn't ask for a better place. So to begin with, my name is Panduranga Gautam. I am an architect, and I graduated in Acharya's NRV School of Architecture. Now I call myself as an architectural writer. I think I was in third year or something. So someone asked me to design a space. I designed, and when I asked for the fee, they said, "Why should I pay you? Contractors design better than architects." I was like, "What?" Then I thought I should probably talk about architecture and talk about architects. And it was then I wasn't sure what to do, how to voice about architecture. It was then Apurva Bose-Datta, I met Apurva Bose-Datta. She initiated into writing through a course. But then after a point of time, as I was learning writing, then I felt, okay, see, as a writer, when I read blogs, how many blogs do I read? I myself don't read many. So who's going to read blogs? So I was like, okay, let me see what to do. I was like learning writing in the meantime. I thought, okay, let's start. We'll see how it will go in forward. And then uh, it is then I realized I need to do something in writing. And till now, I didn't do any publications. Now I'm launching my own magazine. It took me 10 years to actually figure out what my writing niche is. So that's what is happening today. We are launching our magazine. So next slide. This is again a beautiful memory in my lifetime. So I wanted to start a podcast maybe a couple of months ago. I wanted to start with a big architect, not a small architect. Then whom do I start with? Then topmost architects. Who do I start with? Then I was like, then after a point of time, I was just scrolling, and then I saw Jaisim sir coming to a DRK event. I said, that's the best person that I can ask to do a podcast. So I thought, okay, let me just go and ask. And then I requested him, and then he said, okay, what do you want to do? It's a podcast. What is it going to be about? So and so. Then he said, he opened his phone, he took his calendar, and then, okay, June, I'm busy in June. Let's do it in July? Yes, sir. And he blocked the date for me. I was like, a big architect blocked a date for me for the first podcast. I was like fully overwhelmed. And it was then and I started researching about him much more deeper, and then I got to know about him. And he's the best person that I could have asked for the first podcast. And next slide. So when you see this, I don't know how many of them can see in this in the Insta Live, but when you see this image, there's a quote that one remembers of an architect, big architect. Anyone knows? Okay, maybe we can move on. The sun never knew how great it was until it hit the side of a building. Louis Kahn. Similarly, I have a some kind of analogy, or they call it as. Next slide. Similarly, people will understand the value of architects only if we touch them with our work. Only then. See, for example, Jaisim sir never went running behind clients. They came to him. Why? Because their work spoke. And I think that's really important. And we need to actually start documenting projects. That is the reason why we need to voice out. Otherwise, it'll become, we are seeing, right, contractors designing spaces or all that is happening. And yesterday itself, we have seen news that in USA, architecture is no more professional degree. That's really bad. And of course, in India, though we have architectural degree, we are not designing. There are some other people are designing for us, unfortunately. So I think it's high time that we show our value through our work to people. So that's why documentation is important. Yeah, next slide. So this house is Bunny House, the Bunny House designed by Jaisim sir. And last week, I think couple of weeks back, I went to Jaisim sir's house and I requested him, "Can you launch my magazine?" He said yes. And then, what is it? What's the content about? Then I said, "Sir, Bunny House, we are going to talk about this house." He said, "Oh, just 2 days back, I got a message from the client saying, 'Sir, we are living in a happy home, sir. Thank you so much for designing this wonderful space.'" They keep texting him, they keep showing their gratitude. It's been years that they built this structure, and yet it carries such a special space in the client's hearts. And that's what I think is really important. Yeah, next slide. So documentation is necessary for people like us. Of course, back then it was like there were only few notable architects, and they didn't have to. If you see Jaisim sir, he didn't have to actually go back behind the clients, but we can't do that. And people then knew the value of architecture. Now, unfortunately, it is coming down. The value, understanding the value of true architecture. Architecture is there, but I think not to utmost value. And I think that is why we need to start documenting our work and tell stories. Next slide. One of the key thing for documentation these days, of course, we have now social media, but now before it was the magazines. We have so many magazines, Domus, AD, Inside Outside, Architecture Plus Design, Wallpaper, Design, and so on. So many magazines. There are so many magazines that have come up now. So what do these magazines do? Have beautiful images of a space. They have wonderful rendered bleeds across the magazine. Next slide. And they have those small spaces captured of small rooms, and then they talk about it, write about it, long paragraphs. I'll come to that. So what do these A4 magazines do well? So they're big enough for drawings, renders, and details. It's like perfect fit. You can play around with images and renders, details, like even joinery details. They can be talked about, all that. And it's a matter of prestige. Say my work is showcased in so and so magazine. It's a matter of prestige, right? And then of course this remains as archive for us. See, my work is there here. And it is important that we need them. But as a writer, the first thing I would see is the write-ups. They're too long paragraphs. So, and the language is too formal, and they're too polished. The images are so good that you feel, okay, this is what is architecture. The raw part is missing. And when you see the work, like if maybe any architect who's subscribed to the magazine, they see the work, they read the work. What happens is they see, acha, this so and so person has designed it, good work, I appreciate it, but it doesn't feel personal at all. You don't connect with the space anymore. That is missing. And that's why I feel, it's more of a display object. It's there on the table all the time, and sometimes you can't carry it also. So more than a display object. That's why I feel, this just a personal opinion. These A4 magazines, the standard magazines, they document architecture, but not the feel of the buildings and the architects. What architects feel, what the building talks to them, talks to the clients, talks to the architects, that's missing. Next slide. So, people know me as Raitaki person, Raitaki Gautam. So, I have initiated this small new magazine site. Why A4? Let's break the rule. A6 magazine. So, it's going to be A6 size, a small size magazine. Next slide. So, there are no long write-ups because of the size limitation. It's handy, you can just carry it in your pocket, or it's in your hand. You don't have to actually worry about the space. And I would narrate the stories of the buildings through this magazine and not just what the documentation as such. Like the big essays are not going to be there. No architectural jargon used. There are big words, sophisticated design. No, that's not what I'm going to look for. That's, I think, and that's why only the magazines are only to the reach of architects and high elite people. I think magazines should go to normal people too, normal small architects too, and that's what we're going to try to do in this magazine. Next slide. Capture feelings, and this is what I learned over time, that we need to capture what buildings feel, what architects feel while they're designing the space. If that's there, I think people will easily understand the value of architecture, and they know that's the true architecture. And I don't want magazine audience for that. I mean, it's like building a community together. Everyone has this magazine, and then you connect with people. There are going to be events, all that, and invite writing, not just reading. So what I'm planning to do is have a specific space for architects to write or design. If you see, Jaisim sir carries a booklet, or some other architects like Laurie Baker or B.V. Doshi, they used to carry those small booklets to sketch, to write whatever they feel like immediately, not on phone. That gives a sense of touch. So that's what I'm aiming to do. It's just a pocket book, right? You can have a small space, provide a small space, so that every architect has this. They make a habit that they carry a pen or with the pocket booklet with them, the magazine with them, and then they can do it. Like they can do scribble or whatever they want to do. So it's not going to be a publication, it's going to be a conversation with yourself. The magazine is going to converse with yourself. You are going to converse with the magazine. So we are going to reveal the front page of the magazine. Yes. Yeah, that's the front page of the magazine. That's how it's going to be like. Building Tales is the name. One, building is normal building structure. Two is you're building the stories. You're step by step you're narrating the stories. So it's either ways. And as the tagline says, compact architectural magazine, not a big one. So my aim is simple. I want architects to speak and share their work, not for awards or publication, but because their thoughts do matter. And this is where my magazine is, where the conversation starts. Next slide. Let's launch the magazine. Could you launch that, sir, for me?
It's a great pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Really means a lot.